Welcome back to Brighter Shores. We assembled basic stools for 20 hours and 51 minutes for 40,000 Carpenter XP and almost 34 silver. Neat. Stop doing that. Carpenter, 37. Now carve juniper drumsticks. If we had juniper logs, or juniper branches, I suppose, technically. Made from juniper rather than chicken, these drumsticks. Okay. And that means we really do want to have, one, the ability to make those drumsticks, and two, the ability to get the things to make the drumsticks so we don't spend a ton of extra money on it. And that means, first thing we really kind of need to do here is get woodcutter to 25 so we can get said juniper. We could go and chop rugged oak logs. That's the next bit here. Also still missing a place for juniper logs somehow. What's even left in the forest? Let's open up the forest map here. There was the way past this guy. That's probably it. Also this guy's house. And further up this way, which may or may not actually be a place. Hard to say. I'm not gonna worry about that. Anyways. It is a significant chunk of experience here, though. Need, like, 16,000 experience to get 25. That could be a do a little bit of passive branches kind of situation. Let's see, how much experience do we get for chopping rugged oak? That's all over in this side of things. Oak canopy, oak tree, oak clearing, oak. So way up to the north. Then technically we could use those rugged oak for making stuff too, so. Go in here. Rugged oak poles back at 18. Let's go into level that up more quickly. We're gonna quickly get to poplar, but I guess we only need to get to 32 anyways, so. Or we could just keep on doing the stools, but I don't know if that's gonna get less XP now or something. Anyways, we'll see if we can make this work. Teleport to the forest. See if getting one woodcutter level is too much to ask here. It's a higher level. Is there a higher level chopping? It's 22. Rugged oak's 22. Could be okay. Hickory. Oak logs, oak branches, moss monsters. Alright. Good a spot as any. Fell the oak tree. How much XP? This is a past level 20 activity here. 143. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. Oak trees here, oak trees up here. Oak trees over here. It's not a large chunk of the level, though. That's for sure. That's the whole thing we can do. You betcha. No new actual chopping until 27, even. That is significant. Okay. Chop this. The only tree here. It's like yes. We have a lot of logs here. This tree's back now. Do a 5 run here or something. We did take time to look at things though, so maybe not. Jump through this one. Should have some more oaks than these two here too. There's a tree right there. You can also partially avoid running up and down things. It's probably for the best. These two are in a good spot. 143. We needed 14,000 XP. So basically 100 of these then. It's like 4 inventories plus a little bit to get 3/4 of a level. So we're talking 4, 5 inventories to actually get this done here. That's a lot more resources. My question if we really going to need all these then. It's an uninspiring log. No longer cracked at least. We got that going for us. Yeah, if we're just going to be very... I mean, we could use it for the experience. I just worry that we're going to get to the point where we quickly no longer need the coarse juniper branches. Then after that we get split wood for Claude. That doesn't create resources. That we don't need resources. We make the various somethings with the tables. It's gonna be a combination of needing and not needing resources between the multiple skills here. It's definitely something. You can definitely do something with all that. I also enjoy these moss monsters. They're chilling. So many steps. Arcana. This is, I mean, it's definitely faster experience than the passive training. That's pretty obvious. I just don't know if we are going to need to, or I guess we could use the logs for active training, get more experience. That's fine. Just trying to balance things here a little bit. Not slow or anything to get each individual log, so that's at least okay. Definitely something. It's definitely something. Unless we move that quicker than expected. There's gonna be a lot of logs here, though. It's just one level. This is where we got a lot of the passive experience coming in. We're talking tens of thousands of passive experience, which is pretty good. Like at least 200 logs here and all that. We're doing it on the knowledge point. We're gonna need that when we get to 25 here. To actually get that. And then the other knowledge point for the carpenter business. Kind of at a we need 2 knowledge points kind of situation again. Manageable. Reasonable. Doable. In theory. So here's the first inventory of this. Let's go put these away. So we need teleport to the forest, then running down. This is, again, a great opportunity where having actually finishing this up more quickly so we can get access to the stones faster is just going to be so helpful. So many great ways to not need to run all the way back to things. So yeah. I think that makes using these logs up in an effort to actually get more Carpenter XP more quickly. Also a beneficial idea here. We need 2 knowledge points. Just store all the logs for now. Try to get all the logs here. I mean, if we get a knowledge point, we can just put it into the carpenter bit first here. That'll be fine. Don't need to get both at the same time or anything. Teleport to the forest. Okay. Yeah, we can get this continuing to be set up the way we need it to be going. Passives working into passive for maximum experience gains. Then we can get back down into the mines, keep working on that too. We need to mine more things, fight more things, potentially make some stuff. That's going to be good to get the levels up at a reasonable pace. Because then we'll have access to the next place too. And also, eventually we need to go back and do more work at the port, especially with these skills. And this one. Get the Forager, Gatherer, Alchemist, all up to level 20 at least, so we can do passive stuff there. Then figure out exactly how those all work together. So I'm sure we're going to be able to passively collect materials that are going to be used in more passive things. Definitely two different sets of things going on here. We've got the active training methods that go to active training methods. We've got passive training methods that go to passive training methods. We've got methods that just give you XP and money. You can also buy a lot of stuff from just stores. Lots of things to consider. We are making solid money here too, so almost 600 silver now. So we definitely do something that just costs some money. Well, how much more we need to specifically purchase things. There's definitely going to be more tools and upgrades and things. Also going to see what we need to purchase for various skills out there. There's a hat, yay. Once we get to the next area. And also exactly what all goes into actually making weapons and shields for the actual crafting, stone masonry and all that. Lots of things to consider here. So I don't really want to spend all the money on anything right now. It's an investment for the future. It's an investment for the future. Okay. Total level-wise, we're at 238. I'm not too concerned with that, really. We're almost to 24.5 here. And we also always seem to get more experience for using the logs than chopping the logs. I guess it depends. I think the ones that only did the one step were actually giving kind of less experience. It's another thing to consider as you keep going through the different tiers of everything. How much experience you're going to get from each individual kind of thing. How far it is from banking until you get the stones, then it makes it a lot more even. It's right there. We can store it right there. It's kind of the point here. If you're chopping these logs, probably don't quite have the level requirement needed. We're also assuming that there's not additional requirements that we're going to hit along the path to Spider Nest, 32 Carpenter. We definitely see some combat required for that. But our hope for us is 31, so that's not bad. Guess I have to question if we have good gear, though. That's another thing to consider. I have to fight some stronger stuff, get at least passable gear going together. Or make our own gear. We probably need at least equivalent level in order to make actually usable gear. Suppose if we could make uncommon, rare, epic things, even at lower level, they'd still be fine. Another thing to consider. Lots to think about while we chop down dozens to hundreds of logs. It's definitely a process out here. Chop, chop, chop. Past the 24.5 way mark. Alright. Knowledge point, doing fine. Total number of hats. We've got 10 unique hats and 2 duplicates. So that is 12 out of 20. And we can get duplicates and additional ones and everything. I don't know if we're going to try to get all of the uniques ourselves, because if they're all the same rarity, getting like hats 19 and 20 would be slightly more challenging. Just pure randomness. Depending on how that even works, really. Really just need at least 20 total, and then swap them. Should be fine. Let's see how we're doing when we get closer to that. Right now we just need to chop some more. There's another stone we could use. Probably wouldn't use that one, so the other one is so much closer. Also really do need to see if we have all of the secret stone locations just found by going through the areas. Let's see if we see it on the map before we examine it. Possibly when we get to Chronopolis or something. I feel like we might get there before. Might even be after. We're at 27 now. It still takes a little bit of time to get the levels up. Actually, it's a 31 scout, 37 guard. That's when we're putting most of the passive training into those. So, we also don't need to run back. We need to teleport back. Teleport. Alright. Alright. It's a process out here. What are we thinking? The 3 more inventories? It's looking like 3 more inventories. It's 24, not 25. So if we need about 100, it's gonna end up likely being spilling over into the next inventory. This is the way that things work. We'll probably just stop straight at 25 here. We don't really need perfect inventories for making these, since eventually just makes it twice as many anyways. It'll all be fine. Chop, chop. Okay. It's interesting that we're not going to get a better regular training method until 27. That's a lot of time spent at the same resources. There's a wild departure from the first 20 levels, where you're getting a new thing every 2 levels, doing an inventory or 2 or 3 of each type of thing, moving on to the next spot. It's definitely a very different XP curve here. Something to consider. Which really just makes passive training that more enticing. Because you're not just you can just go do other things when you're not passively training. It definitely gets the levels up. We've not done very much at all active training post 20. Just with our amount that we play and schedule and everything. Generally, this kind of works out here. 143 is not terrible experience. It's at least slightly better than lower level chopping and stuff. It works. It works. I just worry if we need this to get to 27. 27 is at 168,000. So, that'd be 47,000 more experience chopping these guys. That's quite a bit. Well, that's what the passives are for here too, I suppose. This really depends what you focus on for passive experience. We ended up with just a ton of guard levels because we didn't have anything else that was ready to actually get to level 20 for a while there. Puts us into an interesting spot here. It's like a base level of progress from doing the passive training, which is pretty much where we are. We're pretty much at the base level of progress that can be expected. Clearly, additional active training is significantly faster, just based on how much higher level people are at. Let's take a look at the leaderboards here. Overall, total level. See the leaderboard? It's here somewhere. You keep chopping while we look at stuff. Here's our ranks. Top players, 2,795. We are worse in every way, shockingly. Wild stuff. Also, the leaderboards are in an interesting state. They're like opt-in, as we had to do when we started getting into it. So our actual leaderboard overall rank here, I don't think is accurate. Not that we are really competing in the leaderboards whatsoever. It's an interesting system. We're working on it. Our guard rank is one of our better ones. It's not good, obviously. That's better. Yeah. A bit too many other things going on at the same time right now to 100% focus here. That's okay. How we doing? Getting towards 24 and 3/4-ish. I also think the circle is slightly misleading because the bar kind of ends here. So realistically, if it went in a full actual circle behind the 24, could probably be almost a quarter done. Hard to say. Teleport. Put these logs away. Okay. I've been feeling like Carpenter has been outpacing Woodcutter. There's a little bit of bonus experience in Woodcutter from just chopping the brambles while running past them. We're also kind of in a situation where we just kind of don't go those ways most of the time and just teleport around places. So that's not really providing huge amounts of additional experience here, currently. It's definitely something. It's definitely something. Alright. Other trees. I definitely don't think we want to chop down the lower level trees. Doesn't seem like that'd be the way forward. Could be situations where it's just faster and better experience and more useful and everything. It's gonna be instances where we need lower level resources for higher level stuff. We've seen a few cases, especially with Alchemist, where we've needed very low level materials for high level potions. I'm sure it could also go the other way a little bit. Obviously, if we haven't really found resources that are used for much lower level things. We've kind of been able to make what we've needed so far. Also haven't done much Alchemist though, which seems to be the main contender in that regard, so. We'll see. Another thing we could do. We're in levels. The Alchemist is our lowest level here. We don't even need to just get that up so we make better healing potions. That would clearly be useful. Even if we only really try to use them in quest bosses. That's still a good spot to use them. Could also make some of the magic power increasing potions. It could also be a good thing to bring for boss fights and such. Would make us a bit stronger. But they don't last a long enough time to really be worth it for typical play. We want to make the better potions for more experience. Or, not even the experience potions. Those are also a whole thing. We need a whole bunch of different ones of those. For the knowledge points, it's still just not a huge amount of experience from the knowledge points. And we're very frequently just unlocking new things with the knowledge points. Not really using them for the XP portion. It's an option though. It's an option. At least 24 and 3/4 here. Plus a little bit more. Yeah, we're chopping these. This Carpenter is way ahead. One, because we just did the passive with no resources needed. And we put a couple knowledge points into just getting experience in Carpenter. A good thing to be focused on. If we want to actively train, though, we clearly need to actually get things. Unless we want to spend money buying logs or something. Or also buying branches. That's also an option. Well, then you lose money instead of gain money. Definitely getting towards a gold here, give or take. We're making progress. And there's definitely much more expensive things later. I also need to check out the enchanting system. That's also something. We got the current upgrading the tools kind of situation, and new tools at certain levels for certain things that we're not quite at yet. For now. It's okay. The upgrades are only like plus experience so far. It might also be what the enchanting is for. I'll use for extra money. I'm not sure if I'd say we currently have extra money. We just have some money. That's mostly good enough. Okay. We're definitely getting there. Definitely could be a do this while watching something, kind of. It's not super AFK running around between places. Definitely more of actually going to the sawmill portion, doing all that for entire inventories at a time. Definitely a little bit less focus required for that. For this, clearly need to actually be paying attention. At least a little bit. Constantly moving between each tree for a singular log. Or between each ore vein, or between each bush, etc., etc. Okay. Yeah, we're nearly there. Let's go put these away. Looking good. And this is just for one level here. So in order to get to the 27 for the new kind of log, setting this to 25, you need to do at least all this at least 2, maybe 3 more times. Get to 27 for the next log. Or we can do passive for a few days or something. It's something. It's going. Yeah, really need to figure out. I mean, we're gonna figure out pretty soon here. But also, all these other bits we need to do. You need a golden marrow from the garden. Maybe a vegetable judge. Lots of different pieces that we're clearly still missing from that quest. One piece of the puzzle at a time here. It's all gonna work out. Now, we're almost at a knowledge point here. That's good. We have vegetable judge badge. For the uncoated shields, we need 32 carpenter, which we're working on here. There's all these spaces left. We have the uncoated shields, something to coat it with, coated shield, vegetable judge badge. Definitely figure out at least some of these parts. Always a little bit through each of the quests here. Completed just these 2. And main story parts 1 and 2. Work in progress. Work in progress. And the passives are definitely helping with that. And another hat. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Knowledge point. We'll unlock the drumsticks. Even though we don't currently have the ability to get the passive branches. That's the next thing we're doing here. Getting the level, and then getting the knowledge point. Should be doable. Should be great. Okay. There's poke. Poke. Passive training. It's level 30s here. Good stuff. That would be what we would be currently fighting for Scout here. Should have that unlocked, since it was sent on the list of things there's different color that we need to unlock. So I already spent a knowledge point on that. Already done that. That's okay. Getting very close to 25. Lost monster. So a lot of the more unique enemies are just the passive guys. For all the basic guys, it's the different versions of the same enemies again. Less extra work, I suppose. Huh. See if this half inventory here just gets us directly to 25 here. That'll work nicely. Nope. One more. Now, all would have come into factor of how much passive training we did. There you go. 25. Now, of course, juniper branches. Branches with lots of branching bits. But we need to unlock it. And all that. Teleport. Back down this way. Use up all these logs. If this just gets us quickly through to level 33. If we get to, we're not going to be getting to 33 though. We need to get to 32 for the quest. We're probably not going to worry about it for a little bit at least. Other things are going to have higher priority. Definitely quest requirements are a main goal for account progression here. Additional quests are kind of in the plans, so more reasons to do things, more things to do. And we still do have a whole other zone that we need to get to too. Other things we haven't unlocked, all kinds of good stuff. Let's do the one log here, and then that. This, I guess it's 2. This is a rugged oak post. Not as splintery as some of your earlier efforts. It's rugged and fantastic. And rugged oak poles. First time. Bonus chunk. From these, might look like a lump of wood, but become a weapon for bone weapon crafting 38 to 105. So, not quite there yet, obviously. 38. That alone is 415,000 XP to 38. In a skill we probably really don't have too much worth training. Making bone weapons for not us. Probably gonna really be focusing mostly on the stone. But it'd be a few free levels here, using up the resources that we have. So we do need to get this higher up here. Get to 20 minor for the quest requirement. Get to 30 plus mine fighter for the quest boss fight. I'm gonna get to 65. So definitely be easiest to just grab a few free levels in the other ones. Assuming we actually just have all the things we need for that. Which I assume we would. We've not looked at any of the Bonewright Blacksmith or Stonemason recipes just yet. It's definitely on the list. It's definitely on the list of things to do. Lots of things on that list. In terms of the other quests here, we've got various bits. We need 50 alchemists and 61 chef for the Ranoff inheritance, at least. So that's definitely more work. Forgotten things. I got a analyzed soil sample. We need to find a peat bog, which I think might just require making further progress down other directions for other bits, just to get to places. Until we find a peat bog, there's not much we can continue with this. So it is a 5-star quest. So in theory it could have similar requirements as 50, 61, stuff like that. That would be a lot of experience, clearly. In Spider's Nest, we need to figure out the Vegetable Judge badge by just talking to people around here. Make the shields at 32. And then we need to figure out how to coat the shields. And then we need to figure out if we can just run past. So, lots of questions there. One of the things is this one. Which one's Legacy? We need to defeat the level 35 Slime Fiend. With that, we're pretty much done here. Just the sort of a puzzle of bringing the cart back out. Which would be perfectly fine, probably. Yeah, 35 Mine Fighter. Or at least thereabouts. That'll be something. Then Lost and Found. We need to do the whole crazy thing with the podium. We need a Goblin Compass first. I'm sure that's going to be just an absolute process. These sell for $4.43. Not super crazy. Store these for later. The great deposit. Okay. Look at carpenter stuff here. We still have not made the rugged pine poles, so we still don't have the chopping level for that. Is that like 27 now? 22 in the carpenter, and 27 in woodcutter. Seems like a lot. Open the bank here. Take out 12 of these, and use them up. Lovely. How much XP is each of these given? Initial cut, 94. We have 2 more cuts over on the lathe here. It's definitely looking like it's still just so much more experience. It's currently at 128. It's currently at 175. Wild. And then we need higher level of woodcutter in order to get the things to make the stuff. Clearly the splitting wood, just passive, that doesn't make a whole bunch of what would then be lower level branches and stuff. It's going to help quite a bit here. Hatchet star 2. Star 1. There's a saw 1. Hatchet's level 1. And saw level 1. 2-star hatchet. Maybe a 33. It's going to be higher level that we're going to be getting here. More things to consider. Okay. Let's get these over to the lathe. So we can just take a peek at what's going to be in the weapon crafting levels. Won't be able to see the recipes or anything, but let's get some information here. Basic hammer fists, throwing stones, stone slime shields, stone mace, stone discs, war hammers, bolas, stone chunk shields, double-headed hammer, throwing clubs, great stone mace, polished stone shield, throwing hammers, great hammer, sling. Then it switches from basic to moderate at 38. We'll see what that all means in terms of what levels we can actually make of things. All the moderate level stuff and all passive stuff. We got fine stuff. We got strong stuff. Superior. Perfect. Perfect goes all the way to 490. First perfect bit. The perfect hammer fist at 334. That's quite the jump. Wild. See, if we make a basic hammer fist at 0, we have to see if that can make higher level than 0 hammer fists. If we're gonna need to get up to like 30, be making slings and great hammers. some kind of level range, and also quality range is obviously super important. Make a lower level rare or epic, and you're looking pretty good for a while. We will see. Right now we are chopping all these out. We're on the next knowledge point. 46. It's okay. Got a lot more logs to chop. Also didn't really look to see how much experience the lathe portion was given. That's also important information here. I mean, it's not really important information, just it's information. It's gonna be what it's gonna be here. We're not gonna make a different decision depending on how much carpenter XP used and up these posts and turning them into the next bit is. Just gonna be an interesting tidbit. Chopping was like 140. This is already giving 90 for each time through here. Also feels like it's probably just faster because we don't have the running between things time. I guess we have the running back and forth to the other bank here. That's at least some amount of time. We don't know the recipe. Not collecting that card yet. And then over the other ones, we got truncheons, blowpipes, cudgels, javelins, clubs, light crossbows, quarterstaff, recurved bow, spear, longbow, poleaxe, heavy crossbow in bone right, and blacksmith, and some other things which we're going to look at once we over here on the lathe. We're 27 and a half ish here. Halfway is still halfway up straight at the top. Well, that still works. There's 94 there. We get 2 chunks of 47. Still something. Still more XP. Yeah. Blacksmith. We have rapier, thrown twin blades, metal kite shield, flanged mace, thrown rings, short sword, metal javelins, metal heater shield, long sword, throwing knives, broadsword, metal buckler, throwing axes, battle axe, metal bow, and then it's back to rapier at 37. Yeah. So since each of these things, a lot of these different things must be made of different metals and different bones and such things. All these different kinds of metal. Got iron, manganese, lithium, atrophyl, iron again. There's not quite as many. And then for the rock side, we have flint, basalt, andesite, granite, then flint again, basalt, deathstone, andesite, passive marble, does it count? There's a few different pieces. Yeah. And the lowest level ones might be used for some of the higher level ones too. I don't think we're quite at the level where it switched to the next one compared to where it switched to the next rock requirements. Might be weird collections of having to mine certain lower level stuff. Possibly. Alright. Back in here again. Grab some more logs. Use them up. Knowledge point is definitely coming here. Let's be fine. Next one's at 33. Don't super care about that. Only getting to 32 here for right now. Eventually we're going to get to a point where it's just everything passive and everything. In theory. Depends what we're trying to do. As much as we were just kind of chopping a whole bunch more logs and sawing them up here again. Most of the time we are off on new adventures. This is an adventure that needs to be had right now. To continue to set this up to get us to the point where we can continue by making the shields here. So for now, this'll work. Another whole thing here still. And then episode 5 is somewhat in the works. Work in progress. Real question is going to be a theoretical combat rework. Also, special attacks and stuff. Lots of stuff still coming. And then, like, also just trading in general, PvP, more quests, more things to do. Lots to do, lots to see. Hats. We got more duplicate hats here. So we're up to 14 total with 4 duplicates. Once people have just heaping piles of duplicate hats, it'd be much easier to just trade them around, not really worry about it. Unlikely to be much need for duplicate hats or anything. So far it seems that they're only going to be swappable 1-to-1, so it's not like you can just have a bunch later. Or things could change, never know. I just like having a bunch of hats. It's a fun time. I'm not super worried about it. You also just hide your helmet entirely. Neat. Purple elf hat, green elf hat, red elf hat, red Christmas pudding hat, red Santa hat, fuchsia Santa hat. Used to be pink, but it's totally not fuchsia. Totally not pink. An alternate color, which is definitely not pink. It's totally fuchsia. Number owned 2. Blue Santa, black Santa, yellow Christmas tree, orange Christmas tree. There's then 10 more other ones. Varying colors for the most part. That's okay. That's neat. Continuing. Store all of these back here. See if this is gonna get us a carpenter level here. I'm gonna complain about it. 27.5 and a bit. Still have quite a few more logs to process here. So, could be. Managed to get most of a level in woodcutter. 12 at a time? It's like, what, 5 more trips through this? Definitely not super quick here for the levels or the experience. It goes. It goes. Calm. Knowledge point's coming. Alright, 84. We got another knowledge point after this that's clearly going to just keep going into Carpenter. Get that to 32 quick as possible here. Or, not even as quick as possible. If we wanted to get it as quick as possible, we would just keep doing this for hours. That'd be the quickest way. Definitely slightly delaying things by the way that we do stuff. That's okay. We get there in the end. Eventually, probably. Well, that's the dream, at least. Let me think. Speed for the next level here in Carpenter. We need another 6,000. Get another at least 40 in there. He's giving at least 100. He's, what, 200? Definitely should get to 28 here, it looks like. That's neat. Any actual unlocks here? Make that stuff. Not until 30. And the new pole that we can't make because we can't chop those. I think we probably could just purchase the resources just one time in order to make this for the bonus experience to get to 32 just a tad quicker. It'll only be like a few hundred XP or something though, so. And then we just have random bits just in the bank. Not super worried about it. In terms of potions though, we haven't even made these ones before. Making the Strength Tempesta would probably be our best bet. Because these potions just give more damage when you actually land the magic. And our chance at Tempesta is the highest, for sure. Depends what kind of weapons we have. Roaring Carbonate, Tempesta. I don't think there is other kinds here. Plus 50 Arbore, plus 60 Arbore, plus 50 Crown, plus 60 Crown. Of course, the Tempeste potions, the ones we would actually want, are the highest alchemist level. That's definitely a system here. 83 for a strong Tempeste potion. For 50. And only 56 for the strong Arbore potion. Wild. Wild stuff out here. Put that away. Yeah, we don't even have the level to make the... Well, we do have the level. We have the resources. We don't know. We haven't made it yet. Lots of things required for making all these different kinds of potions. Definitely going to be a completely separate process we're going to need to deal with later. Keep cutting. There's also bounties. And ventures is also a thing. Sounds very similar to bounties. Doing stuff. Additional stuff. Probably gonna be... I don't think I've seen too many other bounty boards. There's definitely the chef one. That was pretty clear. Not sure about the other ones though. Could look into that a little bit. I wonder if they're really specifically better experience. Also pay you a bit more. And there's the XP component at least. Also, it's just interesting making a bunch of different stuff, bringing it places. Which definitely makes more sense just in the chef portion, obviously. Could bring potions to people, could forage and gather stuff for them. Kind of already have all the making different carpentry things as passives. So yeah, if we're going to be having a bounty to do something, it needs to be in the... I mean, with the 2-hour reset that the current ones have, it really needs to be in the active training section. Unlock the branches. There you go. Now we have both unlocked. So technically we would stop now. Or you can get a chunk more XP by finishing this up. Also, these are the posts. We need to lay these. The posts can't even be stored anywhere, so we would figure that out pretty quickly. No storage option for intermediary steps of the crafting parts. Gotta either have the raw resource or the finished product. No in-betweens. Everything has its place, except for intermediary products. Those have no place anywhere. And you can't even sell them. I mean, it says you could sell them, but to where? What stores? A lot of the stores just seem to sell and buy the same things. So if you try to sell things at other stores, it just doesn't work. But there's really like a general store or anything. It's all very specialized. Specialized stores, specialized banks. They all have their functions. Let's see out here. That place not even on the map right there. This is out in the void here. I don't really think about the void between the rooms too much here. It's just out there, existing. It's something. It's definitely something here. Okay. All these various piles of wood here. A nice area, for sure. Put these in here. You have to see what we all have in the timber bank when we're done with this. We got a lot of pieces. And the pieces that we have is very much going to determine what we are actually trying to make in the other side of things, where we're actually crafting stuff with it. certain pieces of wood, certain pieces of stone, or bone, or metal will determine what we can make at any given level. Presumably we would still try to make the best things. If making the best stone mace requires us to go chop down a bunch of extra trees and do a bunch of extra steps, we could just make a couple shields instead and get to stone discs, which are better. We already have the resources for it. It's something. It's gonna be something. We'll see. That's definitely on the list of things to do. We're finishing this up. We'll probably do the mining. Well, if you get into 16 to 20, it could take a little bit. Mine various stuff. This goes to 28. Passive might get us towards 29-ish. So we're still not going to be quite to 32. At least a little bit longer here. Based on the passive levels for the next stuff, so we're just going to be doing passive the next branches here into passive the next thing we're making here. That'll be okay. It's gonna work. Probably. Eventually. Eventually it'll work. And that's okay. Jump cut, interruption, everything's fine. And this is done now. Convenient. It's like passive training. Only for just a little bit. I'll take it. And go put it in the bank here. Passive knowledge point 35%, not quite there. It's another thing to consider. It's the knowledge points. Could use them to just train a skill you don't want to. As much. Obviously need to get to 20 first though. Which is not too bad. Would definitely be skills that are easier and harder to deal with. 24 more in here. Keep going. Could just use, I mean, so obviously still need to get 20, but could use knowledge points to train up the other of these skills that you don't really want to do because you don't need to. But then you wouldn't really need to, so unless there's things in the future that require the other weapon crafting skills, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Also, obviously the first thing you need to do would be put the rest of the knowledge points into unlocking passives, and then put knowledge points into getting levels you need for quests. And after that, you can put it into things you don't want to train as much. Or things you just want to train faster. There's different directions to go with it. There is 28 Carpenter after this action is done here. The level pops up only when you're done doing things. And just chain gathering stuff for an extended period of time. Just keeps on waiting for you to be done. Not interrupting what you're up to. That's okay. It's the whole pop-up. 2 more levels until the next thing at 30, which we can't even really do. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit of levels. The experience from 28 to 29. Need another 10,500, another 9,400. So, like 20,000 XP, pretty much. Get up to 200,000. 20,000 XP. Wild. Scout is slightly higher. Needs 22,000 XP. It's not much of a difference. We needed like 20,000 XP for 28 to 29. And kind of like 22,000 XP, 31 to 32. Seems the XP per level doesn't increase as quickly. It's definitely a jump up from the sub-20s, but still. Miner here. We need like 2,000 more XP. Also almost halfway, so it's more the 3 to 4-ish thousand. So definitely a lot less than 20,000. Guard is nearly 3/4 of the way through. Still needs another 7,000. So it's still only like maybe like 30,000 XP. 37 to 38. Not as big of a jump. That's okay. And with the not very large jumps in how much level experience is required per level, you can expect not that large of jumps in the experience that you get for doing stuff per level. As you get to higher level things you can make. There's also less new things to make and get per level compared to previously. And all the levels that only allow passive things, the distance between active items is so much higher. It only gets even larger gaps later. Currently we're weighted 22 to 27, 32 to, my goodness, 32 is rugged hickory, 33 upgrade the hatchet, 35 is branches, 38 is branches, 40 is brambles, 43 is branches, 45 is the next actual log after 32. My goodness. That is a leap. And then it's 45 to 53, then to 58. At the upper end here, you'll log at 472, log at 490. That is a significant amount of experience between those, for sure. Really don't need to worry about that high of levels just yet. Not even to a point where we're going to be getting capes. So that's at 50. Supposedly we'll get capes eventually here. Alchemist and Chef at least. Those are quest requirements, clearly. Should be able to get the required ingredients for making this, for this little 61 recipe from just purchasing them. That'll probably be fine. We'll worry about that much, much later. So much later. Okay. Yeah. This has gotten us into a good spot here. Hatchet, level 1, 0 enchantment level, possibly. I got a few course longs. Done that. Saws, tree loppers. All not in super great condition. That's okay. Okay. Total of 240 now. That's perfectly fine. The main quest has a control level requirement that's just going to be completed by getting the rest of this dealt with. Not the main concern here. Okay. We still have another stack in here. Might have another stack in here. It's been a lot of logs here. Getting things done. Making some tables. Slowly. Logs in here. Nope, we're done. Delightful. 28 and a quarter-ish. We got there. This is 25 and just barely. This is 28 and a quarter. The levels. They mostly work. Okay. Let's look at all the stuff we have in the timber bank. We got some regular and some rugged ash planks. Got some hickory, juniper, oak and better oak, pine, poplar, swamp, yew, and all this stuff. As Jopsy. Letters. Alright. Now we need to get to our new spot here. 25, coarse juniper. Or the other direction. Find any coarse juniper. Here's one. Pretty much chop. Tree line trail. Make a difference where it is. Eggs. Okay. Juniper tree. Lop it. We enjoy the company of these guys here. And we got plenty of baskets. It's not gonna be a problem. 59 baskets. That'll definitely do for now. Each time we lop down a branch here for 10 experience. Oh boy. Well, this will go. And this will work. It's gonna be this into using these all the way to the level that we need. This into drumsticks. Let's get some branches for using. Next time. Goodbye.